before the patches, um, he's been on the patches for quite some time, but he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And over the years, his shaking and quivering got worse and worse and worse. And then when we discovered the patches, he's been using X39, X49, Eon, and glutathione. He uses that every day. Now, he didn't start off using 4 patches, he started off using one. But recently, the water machine came in, and I said, Randy, this is going to help you. And so he started drinking the water, but he wasn't consistent. I says, Randy, it's just like the X39. You got to take it off every night, put it on, take it off, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And I said, with the water, you've got to at least drink a cup on an empty stomach. And then the second one, you can sip on the rest of the second one. Drink two, at least two. I drink more, but anyways, drink two. So today he came down the stairs and he since he's had Parkinson's, he's always kind of like glazed over and just seems like he's not there, not present. But he came downstairs because I'm at the water machine making water, and he says, I have to tell you something. I said, what? He says, I've been drinking the water 8 days straight, exactly like what you told me to do. And he says, I haven't told you, but I want to tell you now. But I've had 8 days of going to bed without tremors. Really? Wow. Wow. And if you could see him throughout the day, because normally he sits at the in front of the TV and but you know what? Not only do I see him with a lot less tremors, I can interact with him. Like today, last night we had house guests come to our house at 9:30 at night. He normally spends 22 hours a day in bed because of this Parkinson's. He's depressed. He's all, like he doesn't want to. Anyways, my friends came in from Arkansas, 9:30. I says, Randy, Dr. AJ Morris and Glenda Sue are going to be here any minute. Well, when? I says, 9:30. He says, well, Tina, I go to bed. I says, well, stay up. Drink another glass of water. Let me get you some more water. So we stayed up. He had the light water, light infused water. And he's telling his friend, Dr. AJ Morris, who also has Parkinson's, who has tremors, about the water. And we all drank water before we had wine. The first miracle of Jesus was turning water into wine. And now we have this, amazing X2O water that's like more precious than wine. So that's one thing. Now, every Sunday and Monday, I go pick up my 79-year-old father, and my dad has dementia, a severe case of dementia. Now, he still knows who I am. So the moment I see him on Sunday and Monday, I put an X39 and X49 and patches all over him. And I've been giving him the water. And when I give him the water, it's like I kind of feel like I got my dad back. And what I mean by that is instead of me saying, hey, Dad, how was your day? Fine. What are you doing? Oh, what did you do today? I laid in bed. He can actually, I'll start having a conversation with him and he can say more than fine. He can say other things and talk to me. So I really feel like the patches I thought was for me God's miracle patch, but now you add this water into our life. Like I've been waiting a year, but I got my water machine August 27th. And when I got my water machine, one of my dear friends that I respect on the East Coast, who's a brand partner with LifeWave, called me at 11 o'clock at night. And he says, Tina, I need to ask you a serious question. My friend I don't know if he's going to make it. And I think I want to ask you a question. Do you own a water machine? I said, no, not yet. I says, now I just paid for one on Friday and it says it won't be here till Wednesday or Thursday next week. He says, well, my friend has throat cancer and mouth cancer, and he's couch and bedridden, and he's one of my best friends. And he's on chemo, he's on radiation, and I don't know, Tina, but I want him to drink this water. I said, okay. I says, give me his number. So I called Rich, and his wife comes every day for the last 10 days to get water, and at 8 o'clock in the morning. And they live by the Swope Park Zoo, and I live in Independence, Missouri. And so every day, and she's Burmese. And I said, Joanne, did you notice anything? Anything? Did you notice anything about Rich? And with tears in her eyes, she says, Tina, my husband, now this was last week on Tuesday, after only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days of drinking the water. This is a guy who's so weak, so sick, so depressed, so everything. She says, Tina, we walked 3 miles last night together. My husband has gone back to work 5 to 8 hours. I said, wow, that is an incredible testimony. I said, is the water the only thing that he's doing different than what he's been doing? He said, yes. I says, oh my gosh. So, anyways, the word's getting out that Tina has a water machine. Not very many people in Missouri have one. So then an 80-year-old lady who's going blind that lives in Lee Summit, Missouri, she says, I heard you have the water machine. She says, can I come by? She says, I can't drive. I sit in a reclining chair all day, and my kids care for me, and I can barely walk. I can barely do anything. I'm housebound. She says, but I heard about this water. She says, is there any way that I can send someone to get the water? I says, oh my gosh, you live in Lee Summit. That's 10 minutes away from me. I am driving to your house, and I'm going to get you the water. And I'm going to find somebody in Lee Summit to come to my house, and I'll make 4 bottles of water, two for them and two for you. So, anyways, praise the Lord. The last 5 days, I have now met other family members because they are picking up the water for her. I just met their daughter, Ariana, and I never met her before, but I had 3 bottles. I had two for Mama and one for her. And she says, I see the changes in my mom. My mom told me that she walked out of her chair with her cane from her high rise apartment down to the courtyard to sit in the courtyard. And she hasn't done that in months. And she says, my mom sat outside to listen to the birds, and she is recording every minute what's happening with her with this water. So, anyways, that's and my mom. Oh my God, I didn't tell you about my mom. We owned a 54-year-old Chinese restaurant, and my mom is 78 years old. In just a few months, she's going to be 79. And my mom, she's Chinese, she's skeptical, she doesn't believe in stuff. And I says, Mom, I've got magic water. I got this miracle water. I says, I'm in love with this water. And I've been floating around the restaurant. I'm 55 years old, but I don't move around like I'm 55. I wear all these patches and I feel like Superwoman. But now I've got this secret water that's better than wine. And my mom's like, "What is up with you?" I've taken these Costco bottles and I take the stickers off, and I make the water. I get to work and I have her drink before she does anything. It's like, let's drink water together. So she drinks her water. Now she was already starting her day at 10 in the morning and working till 2 in the morning every day, 2, 3 in the morning. And she has abundant energy. And in our family, we have Alzheimer and dementia, like on both sides. And my mom, she's like, hey, Tina, I haven't paid you yet. Do you know I haven't paid you yet for last week's work? So her memory is good. It's sharp. She might be 78 going on 79, but I say this water makes a difference. And I can't wait till you guys get to have your own machine. And I'm thankful. I waited. I've been anticipating this for a year. I can't wait to get my water machine. And so now I've had it since August 27th, and it's made a difference. And I'm sharing my water with the people I love. And that's my story.